I'm not joking. I'm not hyperbolic here. I'm not exaggerating. I mean it. Any scholar can challenge me. The notion of some class is inferior to another class. If somebody is capable, he can do it. He can challenge me. This I'm presenting in front of you. It represents the notion of shudra inferiority. Shudra inferiority. Shudra inferiority. In the Veda, there are some negative forces. Okay, they are named as Vritras, Panis, Valas, and Dasyus. Unfortunately, they are translated as Dravidians. Unfortunately, it's a mistranslation, very wrong translation. The resonance, the sound of the Veda is believed to be the primordial vibration of the universe. Paripadal, the third song, Vaimoli Odai Malarnda Thamarai Puvinul Pirandonum, while talking about Brahmadeva, starting from Himalayas to Kanyakumari, everywhere we see the Veda, whether it is Kashmiri Shaivism or Gujarati Vaishnavism. You go to anybody, perhaps you go to a Gujarati Vaishnavite scholar and ask him, what is your foundation? He will definitely tell you, Veda is our foundation. Same with Kashmiri Shaivite, same with Gaudiya Vaishnavite or Manipur Vaishnavite. And if you come to Tamil Nadu also, you may go to a Sri Vaishnavite, Alvars and Acharyas like Sri Ramanujacharya. Not only Vedanta Desikar, but also Manavala Mamunihal appreciates the Veda and consider the Veda as the greatest pramana. Pramana means instrument of knowledge. Pramana of Dharma and God. The same way in Shaiva Siddhantam, Jnana Sambandhar, Appar, Tirumular, they all glorify the Veda. What is there in the Veda? Why this is great? How this Veda becomes a common thread of all these streams of Sanatandharma, all these rituals, customs, faiths, philosophies and schools of thoughts everywhere. Why this common stream occurs? A normal pious Hindu, if you ask him why Veda is so important, he will simply say that Veda is apaurusheya. He will use the word apaurusheya, and he also will say the Veda is free of errors because it is apaurusheya. Of course, this comes in Paripadal Sangam literature. Kedu il kelviyul nadu ahudalum. This is from the second chapter of Paripadal, 25th line. Kedu il means Veda is flawless. And why Veda is taken to be flawless? It's because Veda has no beginning and end. It says, Maya Vaimoli. This is also from Paripadal. This is from third poem, Sangam literature. Maya Vaimoli. Veda never gets destroyed. Paripadal says, so this is Sanatanam. Okay, this is the Tamilian faith in Sangam literature. So, we need to contemplate on why Veda is considered to be apaurusheya. Apaurusheya, literal meaning is, Veda is free of human authorship. Veda enjoys the freedom of human authorship. What does it mean? It has lots of interpretations. One, Mimamsa philosophy, Mimamsa school of thought says, meticulously every word of the Veda is preserved for time immemorial with the great redundancy techniques like Krama, Jata, Ghana, so on and so forth. Therefore, Veda is apaurusheya. Veda was not in written form. It was orally handed over for a simple reason that only by memorizing it, it can be preserved meticulously. This is told in Kurundogai, 156th line. எழுதா கற்பின் நின் சொல்லுள்ளும். Veda is called as எழுதா கற்பு in Sangam literature. According to Vedanta philosophy, Veda is called as apaurusheya, not just because meticulously it is preserved by the scholars, But because this Veda is handed over by the Godhead, the Creator, this is the belief in Vedanta. This is also again told in Sangam literature, Purananuru, 166th song. Nandru ஆய்ந்த நீள் நிமிர் சடை முழு முதல்வன் முது முதல்வன் வாய்போகாது. So Ishvara is giving this Veda, the Mudalvan means the first being, the supreme being is giving constantly the Vedic literature to the rishis. These are all the references from Sangam literature regarding the Veda. So many references can be given. But the idea is, it is Apaurushaya because it is given by God, according to Vedanta. It is Apaurushaya because it is meticulously preserved in Mimamsa philosophy. And one more thing, it is Apaurushaya because the resonance, the sound of the Veda is believed to be the primordial vibration of the universe. Again, this also comes in Paripadal, the third song, Vaimoli Odai Malarnda Thamarai Puvinul Pirandonum, while talking about Brahmadeva. Vaimoli Odai, the stream of the Vedic sound about which Paripadal is talking about. Anyhow, these are the very important references. Coming back to the point, in my view, the Veda means Veda is Apaurushaya for a vital reason. Veda is called as free of it is free from human authorship. This can be interpreted as Veda is free from human prejudices. This is how I view about this. What is this prejudice? Always we have among humans various prejudices based on race, caste, creed, religion, gender, color, so on and so forth. But here is a literature. It's not a small literature like Hanuman Chalisa, a vast literature, the Vedic mantras of Rigveda Samhita, Taittiriya Samhita and Samaveda Samhita, a vast literature. Nowhere in this Vedic literature we can see a notion of one class, a notion of inferiority of a particular class. Nowhere we can see the notion of one class is superior to another class among humans. This kind of notion is not found in this vast literature. It's a very important thing. We need to... very, very important observation. Yes. Such a vast literature, this has to be contemplated. Throughout this Vedic literature, I mean Vedic mantras, we never see anywhere these kinds of prejudices. This is how I view. Therefore, this has to be, this is a vital reason for which Veda has to be accepted as Apaurushaya. And I'm not joking. I'm not hyperbolic here. I'm not exaggerating. I mean it. Any scholar can challenge me regarding this. If somebody can quote any mantra from Vedic literature that shows the prejudice, or that shows the, the notion of some class is inferior to another class, if somebody is capable, he can do it. He can challenge me. This I am presenting in front of you. Yeah. Of course, one mantra is quite often quoted. I want to deal with this. Padbyam Shudraha Ajayata in Purusha Sukta. Shudra is born of feet of Purusha. This mantra is taken to be, it represents the notion of Shudra inferiority. For this mantra is quoted. And in fact, very great scholars like Dr. Ambedkar are of this opinion. And Ambedkar is wondering, the whole of the Rigvedic literature has no such thing, and this mantra must be an interpolation in the Rigveda It's because, as in the whole of Rigveda, we don't see such a kind of inferiority notion. This is what he says. And he wants to again and again establish that this mantra is against Rigveda. That is how, if you read the book, Who Are Shudras, you can see this. But what I feel is, Padbyam Shudraha Ajayata, in that, you never see the Shudra inferiority at all. Because to the Vedic seers, nowhere in the Veda again, no limb is considered to be inferior or superior. Please understand this. We may have these ideas, but in the Vedic literature, no limb of a human being is taken to be inferior or superior anywhere in the Veda. That's a very important thing. Then why Shudra is considered to be the feet of Purusha? For this, I want to take another mantra just before this Purusha Suktam in Rigveda, the 10th Mandala, 87th Sukta, 10th mantra. There is another mantra where the word Moolam is used for feet. Tredha Moolam Yatudhanasya Vrishcha. Moolam is used for feet, and all commentators comment this Moolam as feet. Why Moolam is used for feet? It's because feet in the Veda in many places means foundation. Shudra Dharma is the foundation of the society. That is a purport of Padbyam Shudraha Ajayata. Vayu Purana, even though it is very later compared to the Veda, rightly interprets Shudra Dharma as the foundation. That is how this Vedic mantra is interpreted in Vayu Purana. Coming back to another point, I was just contemplating while seeing this mantra. Now, how many places the word Shudra comes in Rigveda or in the whole of the Vedic Samhita? In Rigveda Samhita, only one place, Padbyam Shudraha Jayata. And in Samaveda, nowhere. And in Yajus Samhita, Yajurveda Samhita, maybe in 6 places. 6 places. Let me take few of these mantras here. Yed grame, yed aranye, yed sabayam, yed indriye, yed chudre, yed arya, enas chakruma vayam. This mantra is regarding the atonement. The sin which I have committed against the village, in the forest, in the assembly, the sin I have committed against the Vaishya or Shudra, for which I repent. This is this mantra's meaning. Here also you don't have any derogatory statement regarding Shudra. Another mantra, Shudrariyo Adisrujyatam. This talks about the creation of the classes. And next mantra, Rucham Visheshu Shudreshu Mayidehi Rucha Rucham. O Lord, please give knowledge to Brahmana, Kshatriya, that is Rajanya, Vaishya and Shudra. Again, it is about imparting knowledge to Shudra, this mantra. Next mantra, Brahmane Brahmanam Alabhate Kshatraya Rajanyam Marudbyaha Vaishyam Tapase Shudram. This is another mantra. Brahmane Brahmanam Alabhate. This Brahmana represents Brahmatejas, Rajanya represents valor, Vaishya represents vitals, Marut I take as vital. Okay. And Shudram Tapase. Shudra represents Tapasya. This is a mantra from Krishna Yajurveda. And next mantra, Yathemam Vacham Kalyanim Avadani Janebhyaha Brahma Rajanyabhyam Shudrayacha Aryayacha Swaya Charanayacha. May I recite this mantra for Brahmana, Rajanya, Shudra and Vaishya. These are the 6 places where the word Shudra comes in Yajurveda mantras. Nowhere you can see anything against Shudra in this passage, in these passages of the Vedic, but that's why I am quoting this. And regarding the classes, the Veda talk about the unity. We all know this mantra. This is the end of Rigveda. Okay. Anything which comes in end in the Veda represents the essence of the whole of the Veda. Okay. So this mantra, Samano mantraha, samiti samani, samanam manaha, sahachittam esham, samanam mantram abhimantrayevaha, samanena vo havisha juhomi. Mantra is common for the society. Samiti samani, assembly is common. Samanam manaha, let us all have a common mind and a common kind of resolution. And let us plan for the common welfare. Samanam mantram abhimantrayevaha. and let us have a common worship with a common oblation. Samanena vaha havisha juhomi. And let me quote few other mantras. Sira yunjanti kavayaha. This mantra says farmers, while describing farmers, they are called as kavayaha. Kavayaha in the Veda means seers. Siraha, farmers, are called as seers. And another mantra is a very famous mantra. Takshabhyaha ratakarebhyascha vo namaha. Kulalebhyaha karmarebhyascha vo namaha. Punjishtebhyaha nishadebhyascha vo namaha. Ishukribhyaha dhanvakribhyascha vo namaha. Murgayubhyas sonibhyascha vo namaha. Swabhyas swapatibhyascha vo namaha. Takshabhyaha, taksha. In Tamil we call it as tachan. Takshabhyaha vo namaha. I bow down to carpenters, ratakarebhyaha, chariot makers. Salutations to pot makers, kulalebhyaha. Salutations to smiths. And salutations to bird keepers and hunters, punjishtebhyaha nishadebhyascha vo namaha. Salutations to weapon makers, dhanvakritbhyascha. Salutations to dog keepers and also dogs, sobhyas swapatibhyascha vo namaha. This is a mantra. This comes exactly in the center of Krishna Yajurveda. Therefore, this is taken to be the heart of Yajurveda in traditions. And up to our times, the great Jagat Gurus in the Pitas, can be Shringeri or Kanchi, while doing puja every day, Chandramaulishwar puja, every day they chant this mantra. Punjishtebhyaha nishadebhyascha vo namaha. The great Jagat Gurus are chanting this mantra every day. Like our brothers are every day chanting Allah is only God. Okay, here we chant this Takshabhyaha ratakarebhyascha vo namaha. Salutations to carpenters and smiths. We see the divine in them. This is what we see. And now we saw about the class. How no class is considered to be inferior or superior. This is what we saw in the Veda. While talking about this, I wish to quote a researcher. His name is Harari, you may be knowing. He has written a very famous book, Sapiens. He is an Israel researcher. He says the medieval age is filled with a lot of prejudices and notion of class inferiority, so on and so forth. But long ago, there was an era in the human world in which the humans were not at all having the notion of class inferiority, and they neither had the notion of, this is very important, notion of animal inferiority. Animals were not considered, humans never knew long back that humans are superior to animals and birds. There was an era, he says. Why I am wishing to quote it? This is because I strongly feel, after reading Harari, I strongly feel the Veda has to be definitely, Veda predates this medieval age which is filled with prejudices. Veda belongs to that era where even animals were not considered as inferior to humans. It's a very important thing. You can never see, again, this is another declaration. In the Veda, in the Vedic mantras, in Vedic Samhitas, you can never see anywhere a proclamation that humans are superior to animals and birds. This is another interesting thing. And the respect they had to animals, for which I quote two mantras here. One, Murgaha Prikshah Kranoti. Here the Rigveda says, this is a 5th mandala, 75th sukta, 4th mantra. Murgaha can be taken as animal or deer, stag. A stag offers oblation. Such a kind of statement is there. It means yajna element can be found even among stags, even among animals. This is one interesting thing. Another interesting mantra in the 9th mandala, Ibho Rajeva Suvrataha, the god Soma is extolled, where it comes as Soma is like an elephant. Here the adjective for that elephant is Suvrataha, one who has a good vrata. So the Rigvedic seer observes that elephant has a good vrata. I don't want to go to the explanation of what vrata elephant has, but vrata in elephant is observed. Yajna spirit in the stag is observed in the Rigveda. These are all very interesting things. I also want to add here, even in Ramayana, the original text of Valmiki, starting from Ayodhya Kanda to Yuddha Kanda, you can never see anywhere any derogatory statement against Shudra or any other class. It's a very important thing. And you can never see anywhere the proclamation that humans are, animals and birds are inferior. That's a very interesting thing regarding Ramayana. Now let us go to the gender prejudice. Some mantras are quite often quoted for the gender prejudices in the Rigveda. Some 2 or 3 mantras. Let me take those mantras and give explanation. One mantra from the 8th mandala, 33rd sukta, Striya Ashasyam Manaha. Woman's mind cannot be brought under control. This Rigvedic mantra is there. This has to be interpreted in this way. This previous mantra, Indra is extolled in this way, Nahishastava no mama shastre anyasya ranyati. Indra's mind cannot be brought under control by anybody. This is so Indra is extolled. Indra is not put down in this way. Indra is extolled. Then woman's mind cannot be brought under control. There also we have to take, this is the praise of a woman. Praise of a woman. Let me give an example. Sorry? Compliment to the. Let me give an example for this. In my commentary of the Veda, I have given this example only. Sitamma. Sita's mind cannot be brought under control by Ravana. And the next statement you see, Uto aha kratum ragum, but her heart is soft. This is the next one. Woman's mind cannot be brought under control, but her heart is soft. This is the mantra. We need to understand with the context. Next mantra, which they quote for woman's derogatory statement, Adav Pashyasva. Okay, Veda gives an injection here. Oh woman, look down. Adav Pashyasva. We need again to interpret this mantra with the context. The whole of the mantra you need to see. Adav Pashyasva ma upari santaram patakau hare. If you see the whole of the mantra, you can understand when a man with a malicious intention come there, how a woman should be. There the Veda says, don't be garish, don't be showy too much. And there it says, don't have an eye contact and look down. This is what it says. Therefore, you can't take it as a derogatory statement against woman. And the mantra ends with this statement, Strihi Brahma Babuvita. Oh woman, you are Brahman. This is how it ends. Therefore, it's not a derogatory statement. This is the 8th mandala, 18th sukta, this mantra. Now let me quote a few other mantras which talk the glory of women. You see this. Samragi Sosure Bhava, Samragi Sosuram Bhava, Nanandari Samragi Bhava, Samragi Adi Devrushu. While the bride is entering into the new house, this mantra is chanted even up to our times. O woman, O bride, be the queen, Samragi, be the queen of your father-in-law, your mother-in-law, and your sisters-in-law, and your brothers-in-law. Another mantra, Vashinitum Vidatham Avadasi. Address the assembly, controlling the audience. Vashini, Tum Vidatham, have the control over audience and address the assembly. Woman is advised here. Woman is addressed here. Vasinitum Vidatham Avadasi. Another mantra, highly feministic. Murdhanam Patiraro hai. Place your foot upon your husband's head. These are the mantras I am quoting from the Vedas. And you see, various Vedic seers are women. Women mantra seers are there. Not 1 or 2. In hundreds they are there. That's very interesting. And here is a rishi. His name is Aushija. Aushija says, Avo Ruvanyum Aushijaha Huvadhyai Gosheva Samsam Arjunasya Namshe. He says, Ausija says, I extol Indra like a woman called Ghosha. There is another woman called Ghosha who found various mantras. Ausija says, I take Ghosha, a woman, as a role model in chanting mantras, extolling Indra. This is what he says. These are all very interesting things regarding how Rigveda or Vedic mantras perceive the woman. And now let me come to another thing. This is religious prejudices. In my view, these are the most dangerous prejudices which led to various genocides, holocausts throughout the world in the medieval age. And we need to see how religious prejudices are there in the Veda. Of course, religious prejudices, in my view, are absolutely absent in the Veda. By the way, regarding classes also, I want to add one more thing, class prejudice. In the Veda, there are some negative forces, okay? They are named as Vritras, Panis, Valas, and Dasyus. Unfortunately, they are translated as Dravidians. Unfortunately, they are taken to be Dravidians. And it's a mistranslation, very wrong translation. Actually, these are negative forces. Dasyu in any Sanskrit literature means a robber, that's all. Is a thief. Dasyu means a Nirdasyur Abhaval Lokaha in Valmiki Ramayana. In Ramarajya was divide of theft. There Valmiki uses the word Nirdasyuhu. Pani. What's the meaning of Pani? Panam. Panam means wealth. In Tamil also. Panam. Pani. In the Sanskritam also Panam means wealth. Pani means one who has always a business attitude. He is called as Pani. Vritra, according to Yaska Maharshi, Vritra means adjunct. Okay. Vala. Again, in Tamil also we use the word Vala. Vala means net in Tamil. Valai. In the Vedic language, Vala means Vala Samvarane, binding. Okay. These are negative words in the negative forces. These words represent negative forces in the Vedas. They are definitely not Dravidians. Okay. Again, coming back to this religious prejudice, Rigveda, we all know, Rigveda is well known for its pantheism, polytheism, pluralism. Normally, monotheistic people say, if we have many gods, we will fight each other. But Rigveda is the best example where, in spite of having many gods and goddesses, nowhere no god is looked down, put down, and no god is ridiculed. All people worshipping all gods lived very peacefully as brethren. This kind of pluralism we see in Rigveda, point number 1. And point number 2, we see also these kinds of statements, very famous statement, Ekam Sadvipraha Bahuda Vadanti. Reality is one, the seers call that reality in many ways. Ekam Santam Vipraha Bahuda Kalpayanti. And again this famous statement, Ano Bhadraha Kartavaha Yantu Vishwataha from Rigveda. May all noble thoughts come to us from all corners. See such kind of statements. May all noble thoughts come from all corners. There is another statement in 10th Mandala, 11th Sukta, 1st mantra. Manishinaha prabharadvam manisham yatha yatha matayas santi nrinam. O wise men, you carry your mind to the upasana. Whatsoever are the matis, whatsoever are the thoughts of humans. And if this has to be interpreted, it can be clearly interpreted from the words of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. What's that word? Jotomat Tatopath. As many faiths, so many paths. See, exactly this mantra you see, Manishinaha Prabharadham Manisham Yatha Yatha Matayas Santin Runam. This is what we see. And how the Vedic people saw the atheists. Please see this. How the Vedic seers saw the atheists. 8th Mandala, 6th Sukta, 12th mantra. Etvam Indra na tushtuvuhu, Rishayo yecha tushtuvuhu, Mamed Vardasa sushtutaha. O Indra, there are some seers, there are some wise men who extol you. And there are some wise men who don't extol you. and you are getting gladdened with both of them, and you are growing by both of them. This mantra has to be noted. And another mantra from the first mandala, 124th sukta, 6th mantra, Eve desha purutama drishekam na ajamim na parivranakti jamim. Ushas, the goddess of dawn. The goddess of dawn is guarding, blessing both her devotees and non-devotees, adorers and non-adorers. Bhaktam abhaktam avovyantaha ajaraha agnayaha. This is from again the first mandala, 127th sukta, 5th mantra. God is protecting both bhakta and abhakta. Abhakta. See, these kinds of mantras, they are very important. And if a devotee, if he is not virtuous, he worships, he extols a god, and he is performing rituals, yet if he is not virtuous, about him, what is the view in Rigveda? This is for first mandala, 29th sukta, 5th mantra. Samindra gardhabam mruna nuvantam papaya amuya. Rigveda says he also is punished by God for his karma, for his papa. This is what the Rigveda says. It's a very rare thing. I here quote Paripadal's poem, which also says in the same way. And how here the Veda and Paripadal are Sahridaya. போற்றார் உயிரினும் மாற்று ஆற்றல் இலையே போற்றுணர் உயிரினும் ஏம் ஆற்றல் இலையே நினக்கு மாற்றோரும் இலர் கேளிரும் இலர். Paripadal, 4th song. So here it is clearly told Bhagavan has neither friends nor enemies, and he rewards the virtuous men and punishes the evil. That is the nature of Thirumal. This is how it is told. Let me here quote some two things as examples how Hindu dharma, Sanatana dharma, handles this. One, take for example Ravana. In our existing Hindu dharma, Ravana is considered to be a great Shiva Bhakta, even though it is not found in Valmiki's Ramayana up to Yuddha Kanda. Anyhow, in tradition, we have incorporated that element. Ravana is a great Shiva devotee. But how Shaivism sees Ravana? Shaivism, in Shaiva Siddhanta, we have Appar's story. Vagisha, who dwelt in Kailasa, he saw how Ravana was pressed by the Lord Shiva, and Ravana was crying. Vagisha said to him, "Don't cry in this way, extol Shiva, you will be released." And for helping Ravana in this way, he happened to come to the mortal world. This is how Shaiva Siddhantam says. Which means, in spite of Ravana's devotion to Shiva, Shiva was not accepted as an ideal person. Adarsa Purusha by Shaivites. For your information. Why I am telling this? This element, it's very difficult to find this element in any other religion. Okay, for that I am telling. In the same way, if somebody is not a devotee, take for example, Dr. Ambedkar. Ambedkar gave in few places, he gave some derogatory statements against Rama and Krishna. But still, RSS is well known for defending Sanatana Dharma. These RSS people, defenders of Sanatana Dharma, they honor Dr. Ambedkar. Can you see such a kind of thing in any other religion? Can you show the defenders of Islam can honor anybody who gives derogatory statement against Allah or Muhammad? You can't. Never. It cannot happen in Christianity too. But here in Sanatana Dharma, the defenders of Sanatana Dharma, they respect Dr. Ambedkar. And if you go to an RSS person and ask, he has given some derogatory statements against Rama and Krishna, why are you honoring? RSS person may simply say, he will say, that he may have some derogatory statement, he might have misunderstood in some context Rama or Krishna, but his service to the mankind is extraordinary, for which we are ready to revere him. For your information, in previous year in Kakinada, I went to pay homage to the great Shankaracharya in his Chaturmasya, Balapariva. At that time, someone said to me, his name is Mr. Vijayan, he said to me, please wait. Periva asked you to wait to see a drama here in Chaturmasya. Some skit performance is going to happen. Please see this. And what is about that? What's the topic of that skit? He said it is about few national leaders like Dr. Ambedkar. Okay, in Chaturmasya Vrata. And I was seeing, and drama is happening. Perival also sitting. And drama's script was written by a very famous Pauranika named Sri Koteshwara Rao Garu. And that few minutes, this Dr. Ambedkar's skit was staged. This can be possible only in Sanatandharma. Okay. It's a very interesting thing. And even now, the Hindutva, Sanatandharma, now the existing government, central government, proclaims itself to be Sanatandharma based, with a very great support, huge support from the people. This government is running. Having such a powerful government here in India, the other religions, the so-called minority people, they can happily practice their own religions in India, and in public they can do their own worship. This is how they all are safe here in India. Please think, compare this with, is it possible in few countries, several countries in Middle East or Saudi Arabia? Is that possible? 80% of Hindus are here in India, and a very powerful government is running, which proclaims itself to be a Sanatana Dharma based government. But yet, our brethren, Muslims and Christians, can be safe and they happily practice their rituals and worship in public. So with this I conclude. I have come here honoring the great efforts of Sri Dr. Swami regarding the Hindu Dharma elements like Ramasetu and Rama Janmabhoomi. Let us pray for his further efforts and its accomplishments. Dhanyavadaha.